Chapter 3. He squinted toward the top of the mountain, but the cottage of his old friend remained hidden from view, tucked somewhere beyond the height of the mountain. He paused, letting the crisp mountain air fill his lungs, and allowed his eyes to roam over the sprawling landscape below. Settling onto one of the stone benches that dotted the trail, he felt the warmth of the sun beginning its climb across the sky. Looking down the winding steps, he realized he was well past the halfway point, and by the time he reached the summit, the sun would be perched high overhead. Jack often lingered here, drawn more to the panorama than the promise of a break itself, the patchwork of forests, cliffs, and distant rivers, stretching endlessly in every direction. Climbing to the top had never taxed him. The mountain seemed almost to welcome his steady pace. The path twisted and curved along the long side of the mountain, guiding him upward like a quiet, patient companion.
I am sure the old man designed it as a cruel joke, no matter what he claims,
Jack thought.
We elves,
the old elf would say,
think we are the masters of nature. The path is a simple reminder that nature has much to still teach us.
He's right. The view here is very inspiring. They are definitely close, though.
His gaze swept across the vast expanse of mountains, their ridges painted in deep shifting hues of emerald and indigo beneath the waning light. 3 low-lying peaks rose in close harmony, as though huddled in council, their slopes cradling a still lake at their heart. The water shimmered with the sky's reflection, broken only by the faint ripple of a breeze. He was certain he had known this place once, its name lingering just beyond memory's reach, a half-forgotten word that teased the edge of his thoughts like a whisper carried on the wind. He spotted a hippogriff wheeling low in the sky, its talons outstretched as it skimmed the ridge above the lake. With a sudden plunge, it startled a flock of ducks into panicked flight, though 2 were not swift enough. The creature's beak snapped shut with brutal precision, and with a few powerful beats of its vast wings, it rose again, angling southward with its prize clenched tight. The echo of its cry lingered in the mountain air long after it had vanished from sight. His stomach gave a quiet protest, reminding him that, if he did not rise soon, the midday meal would slip beyond his grasp. He was just pushing himself upright when a sound pricked his ears, the measured fall of light footsteps descending the stone steps behind him. He turned, and there she was, a young elf, her tread careful yet unhurried, her gaze lowered as though watching for rough patches of path. At the sight of him seated there, her eyes widened. For an instant she faltered, nearly missing her footing, before gathering herself with the poise of one caught off guard.
Damn, I forgot to put my hood back up.
She slowed to a stop, considering what her next move should be.
Poor girl. She probably has never seen a human before.
He offered her the most disarming smile he could muster, then slowly turned his back to her. She lingered for a moment, hesitant, before edging past him with cautious steps, her gaze flicking nervously between his still figure and the path. When it became clear he would neither move to block her nor raise a hand in threat, she gathered her courage, then broke into a full run, feet pounding down the path, never daring to glance back.
I hope at the breakneck speed she is traveling that she gets to the bottom safely.
He waited 20 or so beats of his heart, then turned and started to make his way up the mountain at a slow, steady pace.
The elders will not be pleased to learn I'm back. Not that I care. It will be a bit of a pain in the ass to try and avoid them when I want to leave. The last time I was here, they nearly did stop me. I'll deal with it when the time comes. At least by the time she is able to tell them I'm here, I'll be too far up for them to do anything about it.
He quickened his pace a little. He reached the mountaintop just before the sun climbed to its zenith. From there, his friend's home came into view, a house perched precariously on the edge of a rocky cliff. The house, which appears to be made of aged, weathered wood, features an intricate, pointed roof with moss-covered shingles and multiple gabled sections. A prominent tall chimney on the right side emits a thin plume of smoke, suggesting that the house is inhabited and warm inside. The structure is surrounded by a rustic wooden balcony with a simple railing, and a winding stone staircase with wooden steps leads up to the front door, which is partially obscured by the house's overhanging roof. The house is surrounded by a mixture of green and brown vegetation, including small bushes and patches of grass that cling to the rocky cliff. Jack approached at an easy pace, then came to a halt before the front door, waiting in quiet expectation. A smoky silhouette of a dragon's head coiled up from the door, its vast neck still fused to the wood, as though the creature itself were part of the frame. The head thrust forward, molten eyes glowing as it inhaled deeply, the air crackling with heat around its nostrils. It caught Jack's scent and curled its lips back into a grin, lined with fangs like jagged obsidian. When it spoke, the sound was a rush of scalding air, like steam forced through a ruptured pipe under immense pressure.
You know the elders have commanded me to keep you out.
While the dragon's teeth appeared no more than wisps of smoke, Jack knew they could shear through plate mail as easily as paper. Instead of flinching, he only grinned at the looming maw.
That may be true, but we both know your master does not care what the elders say.
The dragon's smile grew impossibly wider.
His physical strength may be fading, however, his magic is still stronger than theirs.
The dragon's head lunged forward, passing straight through Jack's body like smoke through air. He stood unflinching as it wheeled about with a thunderous roar, then plunged back into the door, vanishing as suddenly as it had appeared. In its place stood a young male elf, offering Jack a greeting.
"He is waiting for you."
Jack strolled through the house with the ease of one who knew every corner, pausing before the door that opened onto the veranda. He lifted his hand to knock, but before his knuckles touched the wood, the voice of the old elf reached him from beyond.
And when did you learn manners? As long as I can remember, you have always been rude and uncivilized.
Jack grinned as he gently opened the door.
And you old coot, still trying to linger on to life. When are you going to face the facts and die already?
Jack said. The old elf sputtered out a short laugh.
Old coot? We both know who the senior is here, and as far as dying, my boat ride is not that far away, so you can stop pushing me out before my time.
They both chuckled. Jack walked up to the table and joined his old friend.
You have been gone a long time, out causing trouble, I suppose.
Derishlan said. Jack's smile broadened.
Hoping I would not return, I bet.
His friend glanced up at him with a very serious face.
If only I was so lucky.
This time, both of them broke into hearty laughter. The two old friends sat together on the veranda, gazing out over a waterfall that thundered down into the valley below. The air seemed alive with excitement. From the forest beneath them rose the jubilant cries of wild birds. Jack turned his eyes to his oldest friend, who now sat in quiet contemplation. Derishlan was not quite half as old as Jack, yet at 1,004 years he carried his age heavily. Jack knew he was losing his dearest friend. This visit would likely be the last. The elf's hair, whiter than fresh fallen snow, was carefully groomed to flow down his sides. He was revered among his people, not only as their eldest, but also as one who still remembered their desperate flight from the continent of Sister. His garments, long and flowing, lent his frame both elegance and spirit. Though he personally loathed such finery, the others would not permit their most illustrious elder to go about in plain robes.
In answer to your question, no. We still do not know why our lives are so shortened here.
Derishlan said thoughtfully.
The best theory we currently have is something happened to us when we were forced into this world during the Light War.
Jack nodded in agreement.
That would make sense. I recall hearing from many races that they went through some kind of change to their biology when they first arrived in this world.
Jack said.
That's right. I often forget you are old enough to have lived during that war.
Jack nodded his head with an expression his friend could not quite make out.
The problem for humans. We were never meant to live this long. My memories of that time are at best fragmented.
Derishlan nodded in quiet understanding. Moments later, servants arrived with food, and the weight of their talk gave way to lighter conversation. When the meal was done, Jack leaned back, watching, waiting for Derishlan's reply to his last question.
What's the old saying about when asking an elf a question?
Jack said. Derishlan looked up.
Ask your question. Go home. raise a family, then return, and maybe they will have an answer for you. So do you know the answer, old man, or not?
He glared at Jack.
Old man, we both know you are far my senior, even though you look to be only 30. Anyway, I have been here trying to remember the damned question.
They both glared at each other for a moment, then started laughing.
That's okay, my old friend. To be perfectly honest, I have sat here so long waiting for your reply. I can't remember the question either.
They both laughed harder. They waited until the laughter died down.
How about a nice game of God's chess, my friend?
How about a nice game
Jack
of elven
asked
chess,
the old
my
elf,
friend?
perked up at the idea.
Remember the havoc we caused last time the Elven Council nearly had us banished from the realm?
Well, perhaps we should try harder this time.
Jack spoke with a gleam in his eye, and the two of them chuckled together. The old elf then motioned toward the top shelf, bidding Jack to fetch a box. Jack crossed the room and lifted it down. A plain container of rough birchwood, unremarkable at first glance. What made it extraordinary was the silver cord wound about it, tied into an intricate knot that never seemed quite still, shifting and twisting as if alive. Jack remembered the one time he had tried to undo it. The harder he worked at the knot, the more the cord wound around him, until he was hopelessly entangled. His friend had laughed until tears ran down his face before finally stepping over, giving the cord a single sharp tug. At once it had unraveled, falling free as though mocking Jack's efforts.
Cursed elf magic!
He remembered sputtering in protest as the cord released him, which only drove his friend into another fit of uncontrollable laughter. Now, seeing the familiar look in Jack's eyes, Derishlin offered him the honor with a wide, all-too-innocent grin. Jack snorted and very nearly tossed the box straight into the old elf's lap.
You damned well know I can't open the blasted box, so don't even try looking all innocent with me.
Jack made a show of looking thoroughly irked, but Derishlin wasn't fooled in the least. He only chuckled at the act, settling the box on his lap. The elf gave the silver cord a quick tug, and it unraveled at once. He lifted the lid, revealing what seemed to be nothing but emptiness. Jack wasn't deceived. He had long suspected the box was a portal, a clever fold in space that stored its contents safely beyond reach of any but its master. Without hesitation, Derishlin slipped a hand inside and withdrew their well-worn playing board, passing it to Jack with a knowing smile.
I thought we would keep the trouble local this time, so the board is just of Norof.
Jack only shrugged, satisfied enough with the choice. He set the board upon the table and unfolded it, revealing a living map of Norof. Across its surface, forests swayed with phantom winds, rivers shimmered as if in motion, and tiny figures moved through valleys and cities alike. Every detail was there: plants, animals, even people captured in restless miniature. With the barest touch of a finger, one could press upon a region, and the map would ripple, drawing the view closer in a seamless zoom.
What pieces would you like to play with?
Derishlin asked him. Jack replied simply with a gleam in his eyes.
No.
The old elf protested.
Last time I decimated you when you played them, remember?
Yes, I remember.
Jack replied with a sneer.
But you cheated. I lost focus when your nieces and nephews climbed all over my lap.
I would never cheat.
The old elf did his best to look wounded, though the smile tugging at his lips betrayed him.
Sure. But this time you won't have any help, will you?
The old elf rolled his eyes.
Like I need any.
So what pieces are you planning on using?
Jack asked.
I don't think I would be able to beat you, like the last time. I believe I will use the Adventurers Guild.
Derishlin said.
Interesting choice, but I don't think it will help you.
Jack said warmly.
We shall see.
Derishlin said, his voice carrying a note of quiet confidence. For the next several hours, the two of them busied themselves with placing their pieces upon the living map. Whenever it came time to set one down, a shimmering screen of light would rise to shield the move, ensuring that neither could glimpse the other's strategy. Each placement became a secret, a hidden thread in the larger tapestry of the game.
Okay, we have placed our pieces, so what is our objective for this game?
Jack asked.
I think I have just the item.
He replied. The elf reached into the box and pulled a dark, sparkling little gem out.
What is it?
Jack asked.
It's a small trinket left over from the Light War. It's called the Gem of Souls.
Darishlin replied.
You have been planning this game for a while, haven't you?
The elf's grin spoke louder than any words he might have chosen.
You have just been waiting for me to ask for a game.
Jack pressed further.
Perhaps?
Is all that he would say. Darishlin carefully handed the gem to Jack, who set it upon the board. The living map stirred, swallowing the small piece whole. Jack leaned over, studying the surface intently, then reached out and pressed 2 places upon the map with deliberate care.
2. Is that all you're going to give me? How am I supposed to find it with only 2 clues?
The old elf protested, while Jack just smiled back.
I know you, old man, you have something up your sleeve. 2 clues are more than enough for you,
Jack said as Darishlin sputtered in annoyance. They smiled and continued setting up the board, as they traded insults until the board was done.
Jack, I believe you have the first move.
Jack studied the board for a long time.
Now who's taking forever?
Jack waved his hand in dismissal, then reached to the board and moved one of his pieces towards the deep south. That's the end of Chapter 3. Thank you so much for listening, and a special thanks to my beta listeners. Since I'm just one person, these chapters come out about once a month. It's a big project, and I want to keep the pace sustainable without burning out. If you're enjoying the story, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, see you in the next chapter.